All right. Well, welcome and thank you for joining us for the fifth annual Teach for the Bay virtual workshop series. My name is Dr. Andrea Medina, and I'll be your presenter for today. How's everybody doing? Doing okay? All right, great. So, the title of this workshop is Digital Media Inside the Classroom and Beyond Best Practices for Educators and Students. All right, so this flyer will probably look familiar to you. This is the flyer for this specific workshop. And I very quickly just wanted to go over the learning outcomes for today. So today, educators will understand 5 basic best practice methods for utilizing digital media in today's evolving technological climate. Then we'll work together. We'll develop 3 strategies to enhance commitment and engagement with students to solidify connectivity. And then we'll hear from our wonderful college students and hear about their panel, okay? All right. So what you're looking at now is the agenda for the day. So I want to start with saying and describing what is digital and social media, why is it important, and how you can benefit. Then we're going to move into what I think you're going to be most interested in is how to build connectivity and engagement as educators. And I know we have a lot of college students also in the class, but I think this will help you get an insight of what college professors are also anticipating entering the classroom. And I'd love to hear from you as a student on how to also enhance their time in the classroom. We'll move into some project examples that I've specifically worked on in community colleges, and I was glad to say that I was able to create transformational change within these projects. And then we're going to round off the hour with a very talented student panel and hear their recommendations on best practices of digital media inside and outside the classroom. And then for the very last few minutes of the workshop, we're going to have a Q&A. So you'll be able to have an opportunity to speak to myself and also the other student panels with us. All right, so I wanted to start by introducing myself. As you heard, my name is Dr. Andrea Medina. I'm a little bit of background. I'm a media and ethnic film studies professor currently at Diablo Valley College. Previous to that, I was working at City College in San Francisco for about 6 or 7 years. I'm currently a digital media manager. I've actually been working with Teach for the Bay for 5 years now. I'm very proud to say I've been a stakeholder with this wonderful workshop series for 5 years. They've been hiring me as a social media consultant, and I'm here to tell you that there is definitely employment opportunities if you're interested in digital media, social media. It's a very rich field and very relevant field, I'll say. Um, some more accolades. I'm an award-winning video producer. I've worked with major corporations such as ABC7, Clear Channel Radio, and I also work as a faculty lead at the Student Center at Diablo Valley College. I'm sorry, I think I have someone unmuted right now. Can you please mute? Thanks so much. I'm also the co-advisor for the Black Student Union and the Filipino Club on campus. I got my undergrad and master's from San Francisco State University. And just this year, I'm proud to say I obtained my doctorate of education, my EDD, focalizing on organizational leadership. So, who is she really? Right? We're going to be spending the next hour together, but some of you might want to know a little bit more about me because I want to know a little bit more about you. So, I'm born and raised in San Francisco. I'm a proud multicultural woman of color. My mother is Filipino and my dad is African American and Native American. And I'm a proud mother of 4. Somehow I squeezed in being a doctor with all that in there. But you can see there from my from that top picture, that's my husband and 4 children. Um, and I pride myself on being a change leader. If you can relate to trying to survive in the Bay Area, the cost of living, trying to find your path, pay your bills and still be a change leader, it's a big obstacle to overcome. So kudos to you for being here and trying to enhance your education, enhance your career, and trying to make some change. I'm proud to say I've been a mentor and college advocate for almost 10 years in education. And my very most recent project, I'm very proud to say, after some negotiations, I was able to land a $10,000 grant from Career Education to launch the very first ever video podcast at Diablo Valley College. So the content that we're going to be discussing for the next hour is very near and dear to me. It's changed my life, it's changed some students' life, and hopefully it can make an impact on you. So I'm going to challenge you to please stay focused with me for the next 45 minutes to an hour, and hopefully it can inspire you to also create change in your institution. What you see there is just the title of my most recent publication. It's my dissertation. It's entitled Implementing Leadership and Teamwork, Social Media Strategies, Launching a Marketing Campaign. And this is very fresh. I actually just did my commencement last May or June. So it's Dr. Andrea Medina. I'm still getting used to it. But hopefully this will inspire you to reach that level of education that you're also striving to achieve. All right, so let's get into it. What is digital media and why are we here? So digital media is any form of media that uses electronic devices for distribution. This form can be created, viewed, modified, and distributed via any electronic devices. So most commonly, videos, websites, mobile apps, social media, blogs, ebooks, online articles, podcasts, all streaming devices, and online advertising. So according to digitallogic.co, digital media is used for many purposes, including entertainment, education, and communication. It's opened up very numerous career paths in advertising, marketing, and public relations. Absolutely. They employed me. Here I am. All right. So why is this important and why are we talking about it? Okay. So if you remember, before the boom of the internet, we only had TV, right? So everybody was always watching TV. It was the leading factor of what people were spending their time consumption. And you can see now, and this is 2020, 2021, I'll even say the numbers have boosted, but almost 7 hours a day people are consumed being on the internet on all of their devices, whether that be their phone, I'll definitely say the phone, their their MacBook, their laptops, all of those devices, their iPads, right? 7 hours a day, ladies and gentlemen. And then not even a close second is television, right? 3.5 hours. And then right behind it is social media with 2.5 hours. It's a very large portion of your day consumed with media and digital media. Just wanted to point that out, okay? Up next, the power. There's power of digital and social media. There's extensive influence in digital media and online marketing in recent years. According to Katona in 2011, digital media has the power to influence and create change. This modern technology has gradually transformed social interactions within people. You can see right here, this is a flyer from last year's conference for Teach for the Bay. Please make sure you guys are here next year. Shameless plug. Oops, excuse me. Oh, that actually goes to the website. There we go. I embedded some links in there for you guys. So Teach for the Bay, as I said, it's been going on for 5 years now, and just the continuity of it itself definitely speaks volumes for the precedence that it has on our community. This is a statewide initiative. And if I click on that one more time, excuse me. All right, it wants to go backwards. Amazing. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm just having some technical difficulties. That's why we need to understand our digital media a little bit better so we don't have these complications during a presentation. All right, this way. All right. All right. Excuse me while I get to the correct slide. Here we go. So here are some social media statistics for you. So more than 83% of small business owners say they believe social media is essential for their business. 87% of consumers claim that social media guided their purchasing decision, and 55% of consumers stated that they bought products solely through social media. And here's another example of social media marketing. And again, I reference Teach for the Bay because it's a statewide initiative. As you can see, these are all the stakeholders. It's every single community college in California, in addition to CSUs, UCs, and it's a really a statewide initiative. And if you think about it, it's called social media, right? You want to be social. You don't want to spam people. So to be able to have other partners to cross promote your event, your program, your curriculum, your group, your videos, it's the win-win key to get ultimate and optimize your exposure and leverage digital media to your advantage. All right, let's go this way. All right. So you might be asking yourself now, how do I use social media? How can I myself, as an educator, as a student, utilize social media to my advantage? How can I leverage this regional, national, international resource to my advantage? Because if you think about it, it's almost free. All of these websites are almost cost-free for you to promote yourself, promote your events. As you can see here from this flyer, we've utilized it as at Diablo Valley College to do a media showcase. As mentioned, I work in the film, television, and electronic media department. So this is a way to showcase our student work. For yourself, you might have an event at your college, right? Additionally, you might want to create awareness of your curriculum. I have countless colleagues who have said, you know, I created a small video about my syllabus and it really helped connect myself to my student. I created a personal video on my Vimeo page. I created a funny skit on my TikTok page and now it went viral, right? So being creative, thinking outside of the box. How can I connect to my students, right? Another option, you might be interested in social media, excuse me, social justice. Is there a social justice rally that you want to organize? Is there a call to action that you're asking people to donate to? Is there a fundraiser? Is there a charity? I know that a lot of educators are involved in other outside projects. Maybe you want to highlight a project that you're interested in and collaborating with an initiative. And most importantly, I think you want to connect with your students. As an educator, I feel one of the most rewarding things is hearing the success stories. I'm proud to say I try to keep in contact with a lot of my students who are alumni, and I can do that by either following them on LinkedIn, on Instagram, following some of their accounts on YouTube if they're doing some type of distribution work. And there's a lot of opportunities actually for you to talk to them and outside of the classroom, right? Career-wise, you could say, hey, I found out something on LinkedIn. You might be looking for a job. You might have a job opportunity for them. There might be a letter of recommendation you might want to be able to write for them. And then that social connection, right? Sometimes when you're speaking to your class, you're speaking at them, right? There's no two-way dialogue. To get that real connection and engagement to your student, you need to have an actual dialogue with them. So that will happen not during lecture, but during maybe office hours, before class, after class, or it could happen online. Maybe you talk about a viral TikTok video, right? Maybe there's something on headline news that you guys relate and connect on. Hey, did you see that video that they did on the elections? Did you see the new statistics that happened at Palestine? Did you see that new restaurant that opened, or they're doing free giveaways at the food pantry, so on and so forth, right? There's many different ways for you to interact and engage with your students. So one phrase that I like to and mantra I like to remind myself is that when things change inside of you, things change around you. So if I'm walking around not talking to nobody, nobody sees me, I'm like, yes, sure, yeah, sure. No one's going to invite you in. No one's going to talk to you. No one's going to want to really understand what's going on. And I'll say that as a student, because I just graduated, and also as an educator. Some of the best professors I've had have been because they talk to me. They really ask, how are you doing? What's going on with you? Do you need help? Right? Those are the people that resonated with me. And to this day, I still keep in contact with those professors who actually cared, genuinely cared about what I was doing, how I was doing, and how they could help me. And I want to challenge you to do that for yourself and your own students in your institution. So here's where I want to stop. I want to ask you, what is your goals as an educator? This is the interactive part I was talking about. So if you can, please type in the chat right now. What is your interest area? And if you're brave enough, what are your goals? Right? By your interest area, I mean, are you a professor in English, in art, in math? And for my students out there, maybe you can just share what are some of your career goals, right? What's your major? What are you guys trying to do? So I'm going to stop sharing for a second and check on the chat. All right, let's see. All right, thank you for the congrats, everyone. Will these slides be available? Absolutely. I will definitely give the slides to everybody. But I'm interested in your interaction right now. This is your time to please type something in the chat. Let me know, what is your area of interest? Do you guys have any goals for yourself? This is an interactive workshop. Please let me know, are you guys interested in math, English, entertainment? All right, I see some stuff in the chat. Thank you so much for contributing to the conversation. Great. And if you're reading through the chat, I know that you might not see the connectivity with all of this. How is psychology related to economics, to English, right? You know what? One thing, the commonality between all of this, even nuclear medicine, digital media. These are all topics that can be promoted and marketed on digital media, right? If you a simple post, a simple video, a simple flyer, right? Some type of connection, law even, right? I'll even be bold enough to ask somebody to, is there a problem that we can help you with right now? Is there a goal that you guys are trying to have? This is an interactive workshop. Let's see. Let me check the chat. Looks like some people are interested in public health, business, English, law, engineering, language, game design, business. Great. My career is programming languages to young children. Great. Amazing. Amazing. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. And later in this workshop, I'm actually going to give you the opportunity to create some goals for yourself. Okay. And right now, you're probably like, I'm not even really sure what I'd like to do yet. And that's okay. This is a place to explore. All right. So getting back to my slides, I'm going to go into some examples of my leadership journey. Okay. So I want to start with this transformational change project. So this transformational change project took place and was conducted at City College of San Francisco. And I actually launched something called the BEMA Broadcast Electronic Media. It's a superstar video contest. And it was a chance for students to create their own content and have their own voice. And they were able to create videos and win some money. Who doesn't want to get compensated for their time? But it all started with the leadership vision. So what I'm about to talk to you about now is some strategies you can implement and some techniques that worked for myself, and hopefully if you implement them, they can also work for you. So the first thing I did before launching this project with digital media is I identify the problem. What's the problem? What am I trying to do? Okay. So for myself, my challenge statement was, in what ways might I increase the awareness of the broadcast media department at City College of San Francisco? You can see some fun pictures of my students inside the classroom. As I said, I was a video production instructor. And so once I realized my problem, I said, okay, what's the purpose? What am I really trying to do? So my purpose from launching this project was I was trying to rebrand our department. And by doing that, I would enhance the organization's visibility and hopefully transform the culture. In addition, I would expand the productivity by showcasing the student work because it was award-winning stuff, but nobody would ever see it, right? We're like just like our classroom of 20 people. But how about if not only the students in the classroom seen it, but the college, the neighborhood, the region, the state, nationally? Sky's the limit, right? On all of these free platforms like YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, all of these platforms that I've mentioned are completely free of cost, unless you do some paid advertising. But ultimately, you don't need a budget. Small budget maybe, but you can do it yourself. And I think that the win-win was that it increased enrollment and certificate completion for the college. So my bosses were happy, the students are happy, I'm happy because I'm doing what I love, and everyone kind of walked away with, okay, this was good. What else you got? Right? So the next thing I did after I figured out my purpose, I said, okay, what are my goals moving forward? What strategies do I want to implement? And I want to challenge you to do the same thing. What goals do you want to do in your department? If you're a teacher, why are you teaching? What do you want to do? Are you trying to help students? Are you trying to create a program? Are you trying to get scholarships? Are you trying to boost enrollment? As a student, if you're here as a college student, what are your goals in college? Right? Are you trying to transfer, gain a job, right? Relate this to your own self. So in connection to my video contest, of course, I had to secure some goals. Luckily, there was some grant funding available. So once I got the check from my boss, hey, there's some money. Great, let's run with it. So I said, well, we need some connectivity, right? So my goal was let's get everybody involved. Because when people are helping you with a project, more than likely they're going to want it to succeed, right? So what's the connectivity? I want to increase the engagement of faculty, students, and the public. I went to San Francisco. It's a huge city, so we should get everybody involved, right? And then let's get some engagement. So it was a new opportunity for BEMA students to receive scholarship money. Who doesn't want to get compensated, right? We're like struggling students trying to get gas money, find parking, pay parking tickets, right? And then what we need some promotion. That was one of my goals. And having a heavy background in digital media marketing, I was able to showcase student work while also promoting my organization. So as again, a win-win for everybody. And then getting some research and curriculum involved. I followed Owen's 7 phases of innovation process. So as I mentioned, I identified the problem. Then I generated some ideas. I brainstormed. And when you generate ideas, I would advise to bounce them off a group of trusted friends or colleagues because sometimes what's clear to you is not clear to others. So maybe have a sit down and brainstorm for everybody to give some feedback and have some thick skin, some tough skin when receiving crucial conversations, okay? All right, up next, you want to assess the constraints. So there's definitely going to be some, not definitely, there won't might be some gatekeepers keeping you from doing and accomplishing your goal. So remain kind, be flexible to change. I know I had to be. To get this $10,000 grant for this video podcast at DVC currently, they told me no 4 times. It was the fifth time that I revised my plan that they said, okay, sure, she's not going away. Let's give her what she wants. So I was able to actually pay students for going to school and creating content and do work that they actually love. So they walk away with a little bit of money. We walk away with great content. We're promoting the school. I'm feeling very very, very lucky, very, very lucky to be able to be a part of this movement that's going on my college campus. So once I figured out, hey, finally they gave me the green light, let's set a direction. Let's stay focused on our goals and our implementation plan. With the plan, you have to design it. You got to gather feedback. You're going to anticipate some pushback. Okay. Then you got to refine it, implement your plan, set clear expectations. Oh, and those deadlines, hit those deadlines. And if you want funding again, record your quantitative data to understand your growth. Okay, and that's always great to have those numbers to show your growth. Maybe your enrollment was here, and then after your project, it boosted to here. Or as a student, maybe your grades were here. After you followed a plan, your grades were here, right? Something along those lines, all right? Related to yourself. And then for the project overview, I'm just going to go over this very quickly. The video contest was launched back in fall 2022. So the students were tasked to create promotional videos for our department. So not only are they creating work for their own reel and resume, they're also creating content for our department. And then the scholarship winners were announced that year. They received anywhere from $400 to $1,000. Yes. And then actually after that, they lived on the college website. So all around, we had great publicity with that, I'm proud to say. Some project highlights, again, some students inside the classroom. Here is a change model to create transformational change. And I want to emphasize the word transformational because it's not transactional, right? Like, yeah, there was some money, some things changed, but to truly transform it, you would really have to try to change the culture of it. So we increased enrollment, which I'm proud to say. We enhanced visibility, and we used some social media tactics. It increased class enrollment, certificate completion rates, and the video production skills. Since I think they got a little bit more competitive because there was some money at stake, their work level just skyrocketed. Like I was so thoroughly impressed by their enthusiasm and their dedication to the actual projects that they obviously won some money along the way. But I'm proud to say that one of these people are actually here to speak on a student panel, and she's actually working in the industry now. Some more pictures, innovation factor. And then you want to have some sustainability, right? You don't want to have a project and it goes away. You want to have some longevity with it. So the student success stories will live on the college website. And I'm proud to say that they are updated now each semester with new student winners. And again, that scholarship opportunity, it showcased their work and they were able to earn up to $400,000 annually from this project that we launched. And here's an artifact. And hello, Renee, who's here today. Renee is joining us. She's one of my alumni students from the BEMA department at City College of San Francisco. And she was our lucky scholarship winner. Congrats to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
There she is. In addition, if you have some contacts, tap into your Rolodex. I'm happy to say I was able to contact some of my colleagues from Cron 4. We had John Schrabel, who was the meteorologist, come in and speak to our students to kind of bring that real life experience into the classroom. Say, hey, I was a student once, I hustled hard, and now I have my dream job. I think it was life-changing for some people, and I'm proud to say a lot of my students actually got internships at Cron 4, and one of them actually works there now. You guys watch Cron 4. All right, let's get more current. It's the year 2024. I actually have Alyssa here as well. She's one of my current students at Diablo Valley College. She is one of our director producers for our video podcasts. So as mentioned, I did get grant funding for this, and this is the flyer and call to action for some of our students to be hired. So I'm proud to say we had over 50 people apply to this, and we were able to hire 7 student interns to be paid to do things they love. And that has never been done at Diablo Valley College. And I'm proud to say that was unprecedented. A little bit of hard work and perseverance. We got that digital media podcast up. We are actually shooting episode 2 next week. Alyssa, yes. All right. All right. And then also at DVC, as I mentioned, I'm the proud advisor of the BSU. Um, And so here are some pictures from Emoja. I was also a coordinator for Emoja, in addition to also being the advisor for the Filipino Club. So I actually just want to show you some examples of some social media marketing that we've been doing. Okay, all my tabs open, excuse me. But here is an example of the BSU. We just actually had club day. So you can see some of my officers there. We have flyers. We utilize TikTok and our reels. We go and talk to the students. And as I mentioned, I also work for the Student Center at the ACL. So just getting involved and collaborating. That's the thing I would love you to walk away with is how to collaborate with your college and say, if you have an event, let's go ahead and support it. So we just had Dreamers Alliance at our student center, and they were able to do an art gallery. So just some of the beautiful work that they had in there. And some of our posts get up to like 100 likes, 100 views. I'm glad to say we get donations continuously on a lot of things that we have going on at the student center. All right, let's transition back. And here are some final remarks for myself. I just wanted to say that, and this is quotes from my dissertation, the need for social media is vast, okay? And it reaches all corners of the world. As such, the demand for literature and extensive research only grows. So maybe you'll see me in another digital workshop. But as a woman of color who is biracial and works in the field of higher education, I reflect on my own experiences and how social media has created platforms for people to speak up. Social media has enabled them to find their voice. Okay, so I want to challenge you, my viewing audience, to find your voice. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to achieve? We're here on earth. My belief is to create change and a positive one. And being a mother, it's near and dear to my heart to really cultivate my students and reach out to them and understand how I can best fit their needs. And I want to challenge you to also take a little bit of extra time to talk to them, okay, and understand what they're going through, understand some things that they're just not connecting with them. And if you would utilize digital media to your advantage, even if it's a conversation starter. Hey, professor, did you see that new episode of dot dot dot? Right? Did you watch Dancing with the Stars? Did you see the news this morning? And that could also be a form of digital media, right? Of course, I'm going to do a shameless plug to ask you to follow me on Instagram there. Okay. And gotta have a quote from Oprah. Anything you can imagine, you can create. All right. So this is the interactive part that I was also talking about. I'd love for you guys to take some action. All right. After hearing some examples of projects that I've launched at my community college, I'm not saying you need to be as grandiose as me, but maybe you have some realistic goals for yourself, right? Maybe as a student, you have a goal to possibly digital media to, reach out to some potential employers, brush up your resume, um, follow some people who you aspire to be, right? As an educator, maybe you want to make a video syllabus. Maybe you want to create a flyer to promote your upcoming events, or you have a project that your class is working on for science class, right? What I want to do now is ask you guys to right now, um, please type in the chat one goal. One goal. I just want you, if you can create three, even better. But I'm going to stop sharing and ask you guys to please share one goal that you would like to bring to life. Okay. Whether that be this month, next year, just feel free to share. Okay. I'm going to close my screen. Let's look at the chat. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Jasper, for sharing. Okay. Please, anyone else, please feel free to type in the chat. And this is more for yourself No one's obviously going to follow up and say, hey, did you write that short story? No, this is just for you. I feel that when you make vision boards, when you say things out loud, when you write it down on paper, when you have affirmations visible to you and you repeat them to yourself and you have a mantra for yourself, more than likely it will come to life. And I will be that living example for you because years ago I said, hey, I'm going to be a doctor. They said, ha, yeah, that's funny. You got kids, you're in school, you're barely getting by. And some way, somehow, by the grace of God, and I give a lot of credit to my grandparents who really instilled that value of education. And here I am, Dr. Andrea Medina, 2024. All right. And I'm seeing the chat going crazy. Thank you so much for that. And I want to inspire you that you can also achieve all of these things in the chat. Okay? Wonderful, wonderful. Keep those goals near and dear. All right. Print them out. Put them up big. Graduate. You will. Absolutely. Come to class. I'll make sure you guys pass. Okay. I'll tell you a secret. As an educator, we want you to come to class, turn in your work, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to pass that class. Okay. We understand the sky is falling. You miss 1 or 2 classes, but if you come and you talk to us, we are human beings too. We're in education to help you succeed. All right. So go to class, turn in your work, and you will graduate. All right. Wonderful. All right. So what I want to do now, I want to utilize these very talented students who have joined us today. We're going to be doing the student panel now. So I just want to share screen and go over the questions that we're going to be talking about. So you don't have to hear me talking for the whole hour. I've invited my very talented students to join us. All right, student panel, student panel. So the first question I'm going to ask, why is digital media important today? And how do you utilize it in your daily life? Please give examples. And then I'm going to ask you, do you think social media can enhance your career and or educational goals? And how can one leverage social and digital media? Right. And then we're going to finish it with, as a student, what recommendations and best practices would you give to educators to best engage with their students? All right, I'm going to copy and paste that into the chat. I just wanted to give a broad overview of the 3 questions I'm going to be asking them, okay? So I wanted to start it off by introducing my student panel. Today we have Miss Alyssa. She is the editor-in-chief of the Inquirer at Diablo Valley College, and she's also the director and co-director, excuse me, of the video podcast at DVC. Hello, Alyssa. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. In addition, I have Miss Renee. She is alumni from the broadcast department at City College of San Francisco. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm well, thank you. Hi, everybody.
And she is that lucky scholarship recipient that I spoke of earlier. And she is actually taking her lunch break because she is working in the field right now, right?
Yes.
And then finally, we're going to wrap it up with Miss Kristen Freeman. Kristen is a student at Diablo Valley College, the founder and former vice president of the Black Student Union, and involved in numerous social media, social justice projects across campus. Hello, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you.
Great to be here. So I will start off by repeating that first question, and feel free, any of you guys, to jump in. Why do you feel digital media is important? And how do you personally utilize it in your daily life? And if you could give us some examples, that'd be great.
Hi, everybody. I'm Renee. It's so great to have you all here in support of Dr. Medina. So I would definitely piggyback on what she has already spoken of about the importance of our digital media being a worldwide international tool especially for anybody who is really looking at reaching the masses for any particular reason, whether that be personally or professionally. It's initially a first world, societal tool, but now with the phones and everybody being able to have access to a telephone, it's become accessible to those even in third world countries. So you're really able to expand your market like across the world, as she said, in all four corners. And it's currently the current culture that we now live in. We're not going to go backwards to where we're separating. We're only going to become more connected. So it's a really great tool that we have now, digital media and social media, that allows you to really showcase who you are and what you want to bring to the world. It allows you to build your reputation in your niche market and communities that you really, really want to thrive in and grow. And as she said, we're here to make a difference and to change the world. So your voice does matter. You get to utilize those platforms in those niche markets and communities. So you get to build your reputation as like one of the movers and shakers, if that's what you choose to do. But it also allows you to network, like thick network, and anything you want to promote, whether it's, just for fun or if it's for business. I know there's a lot of people who put like really positive messages out there, and the world definitely needs that. So that's always a good thing. And then you can always, use it personally where you're staying in connection with friends and family for any updates if you're not in the area where they're at, like me. I was originally from Northern California, and now I'm in SoCal. So
Thank you so much, Renee. And I know as an artist, you've used it to create music videos for you, a lot of promotional items for yourself inside the classroom, creating that. So thank you so much for taking the time out. So she is actually a production assistant for something with Reese Witherspoon right now, right, Renee?
yes. So right now she's got an event going on called Hello Sunshine, and we've just taken a studio that has multiple areas, multiple stages. So there's like 3 stages that we're putting together, plus all the green rooms, and just really her production company is putting this event on. So I'm actually, out right now on lunch to make sure that I can tap in with all of you guys and support this really important message, because everything's on digital media. And to mention that you spoke about music. So as a musician and artist, we don't have CDs and tapes and stuff like that anymore. So really everything music wise is actually moving to digital media anyways. So that in and of itself is why digital media is an important tool, and it's how I utilize it.
Thank you so much, Renee. I'll move on to Kristen. Kristen, same question. Why do you feel digital media is so important in today's society, ma'am?
Well, kind of to piggyback off of Renee as well, I think because technology is so rapidly changing and will continue to change over time with new technological advancements, I really do think that there won't really be a world where you can't be connected to social media and just the internet in general, because a lot of people are getting their news from the internet and social media. A lot of people stay in contact with each other through social media. And, just like Renee said, it's a way for us to allow our voices to be heard. And it's so easy to spread messages over, just like you can make a single post and it can reach hundreds of thousands of people within, say a few hours or a few days. And I think that's the most important part about it, because it will really allow you to kind of like feel that, you're not alone. And when it comes to like, say, social justice issues, for example, if it's something that's really near and dear to your heart, you're able to get that across to people that you probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to do so if it was just word of mouth, just locally in your community. And it's also really powerful to show that in the classroom as well, because it will also give students an incentive to want to share what they've learned in the classroom with other people around them as well, and want to promote other things that are going on, and just spread the message that people may feel is important, and just stay connected with one another, because it's really easy, especially during quarantine. That was the main way that people were able to stay connected with each other, through social media. So it's definitely important, especially going forward with so many things happening in the world. It's like the main source of communication across different regions.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Absolutely. I think to your point, it's with a single post, right? Like it's free of cost. It takes what, maybe 30 seconds. I mean, I would definitely encourage you to take longer than 30 seconds to articulate something, but very easy, very quick and accessible, right? Thank you. Alyssa, I want to move on to question 2 for you. Um, do you think social media can enhance your career, educational goals? How would you, what advice would you give people to leverage social and digital media to their advantage?
Yeah, totally. So I'm personally, I don't have a personal social media account. I deleted that in about middle school. But as editor-in-chief of the Inquirer, the DBC school newspaper, we definitely use social media um, to promote our paper, so that we get the news out to the students, so that people can get connected, because not all people not don't always realize that we even have a school newspaper. They just walk past the kiosks, they're on their phone, they don't even see it. So it's one way to kind of like showcase it, and it's also showcasing our work as students, and it's kind of like a live portfolio. And I know also other students as well, like our graphic artist for the paper last semester. He had his own social media account where he posted his own art. I have friends who post like maybe their dance content or any sort of like entertainment or arts kind of industry really gravitates people to use social media as a resume. And so it can be very useful. And also, um, it's also a great way to connect students to their own like educational opportunities. So we're at the Inquirer this semester, we're not only trying to get people to read the paper, but we're also trying to inspire them to join the class. So we have some skits that we're going to be recording soon, in order to like really promote journalism itself. And as Kristen said, it can be like journalism, especially in digital media, can be a very democratic tool, and it can really inspire like civil journalism as well.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. Absolutely. And journalism, well, I have a background in journalism, so it speaks near and dear. And in journalism, you're trained to be unbiased, right? So you're really reporting facts, you're trying to get the news out to people. And what best way to circulate your stories through digital media, marketing, social media, and using those platforms. I'll even say we can mirror that as educators and also as students. If you have a project that you're working on, you want to publicize it to the public in that same way. Renee and Kristen, feel free to jump in. Same question. Do you think social media can enhance your career and educational goals? How can one leverage it? Like, do you guys have any like specific tips, things maybe you've done that have worked in the past? I know, Kristen, you've worked on like social justice projects, and Renee, of course, you're in Hollywood right now. So
Yeah, I definitely think it can enhance both your academic and career goals. One thing that kind of comes to mind is, using something like LinkedIn. That's one way for employers to see, your resume, your background, experience, et cetera, et cetera. And when it comes to social media, it makes me think of the people that are in creative spheres. Like with Renee, you could be an aspiring artist, whether it's artistically, musician, whatever, and you could find somebody that can connect you to something much bigger just by putting yourself out there on social media, something that you probably wouldn't have imagined doing. I think it's really important to take advantage of that, because like you said before, like it literally only takes about 30 seconds to just put yourself out there and open yourself up to that world of opportunity that you wouldn't have been able to receive otherwise. And I think as far as enhancing it further, it's also kind of a slippery slope as well, because, Alyssa mentioning how she doesn't have, personal social media, sometimes it can be a little bit slippery to make sure like you keep your professional and your personal separate in that space, because with social media having everything just on display for everyone, you really do have to be mindful of the things that you do involve yourself in on social media. So definitely making sure that you have that boundary when it comes to your professionalism and academic spaces, and then your personal life as well.
Thank you so much, Christina. That was something that we didn't really touch on, that it's definitely lucrative, but there should definitely be some do not do instructions as well. Renee, yes.
Yeah, so to just touch on that, when I was actually a student at the time with Professor Medina, now Dr. Medina, she actually had us create and develop a LinkedIn account specifically because it was for professional purposes. A lot of us had like different social media pages, but LinkedIn, she taught us, was specifically professionally, so that we could go in and it would be for employers, and we would allow ourselves to be accessible for that. And I remember also in the broadcasting electronic like curriculum and all the instructors, there were actually other instructors that utilized LinkedIn platform, the LinkedIn platform. So we would go there and we would actually learn about our program. So you can learn programs for your profession in many of these platforms. So you can definitely utilize these for your educational goals. So for example, if you want to be a video creator, and or if you want to be like a lighting producer, like technician, but then you want to run the programs for like lighting shows and stuff, you can actually go into LinkedIn, YouTube, or go to the manufacturer's website, and they have full on curriculum tutorials from start to finish for different aspects of those programs. Learn all about it as like self-education in essence, and then you can take that skill that you've learned and then go and pitch that to whoever it is that you're looking to be employed with for like your dream job, and say, I know how to do this because you actually learned it and it was free.
Thank
So
you
yeah, Kristen,
so
good
much for
point.
that, Renee. I totally agree. Promote yourself. I am shamelessly always posting stuff about things that I've done, projects I've done, meetings, everything, right? And there was something in the chat I just responded to. How do you balance your digital media work usage with your works within this field? Specifically, do you take breaks to create work-life balance? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would recommend complete your work and school priorities first. So when all that homework's turned in, when all your syllabuses are posted, all your grades are done, then you're going to carve out time to create a posting schedule, excuse me. So whether that be every Friday night at 5 or every other morning at 11, get into those routines. Because I know for myself, it's always right after I drop the kids off, I have a little bit of time before I start work is when I'll do my social media work. So getting into a routine definitely will help. Okay. And I want to get to this final question, and then we'll open it up for Q&A to the public. To my 3 student panelists, as a student, right? Like there's some educators in the room. We don't get that student perspective, right? We're just kind of giving information. On the receiving end of it, what recommendations would you give and best practices would you give to educators for them to better engage with their students? I'll start with Alyssa.
Okay, well, I would say digital media can really help teachers kind of reach across different learning styles. Because I know some people tend to better process information through video or through audio, rather than simply reading something. And you could use it like to complement like reading material. For example, I have had like English classes that offer like audiobook links so that we can follow along, because otherwise it can be very difficult to get through, Old English, Beowulf, or even like the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin without those resources. And then I've also had teachers assign like book review podcasts or like debate podcasts as like resource material. So they're really kind of just diversifying their own like instructional materials. And it also just helps like at the end of the day after like hours of just reading and like my eyes are just getting all blurry. It just also helps to kind of for me to balance my own like kind of workload myself. And then also it can be very helpful as far as organization, like you utilizing things like Canvas or also Google Classroom. And as like editor-in-chief at the Inquirer, I've made my own Google Classroom for our newsroom because we technically have several different like course sections. So there are like our whole like there are different students in different sections, and I have like instructional material like on like the basics of reporting that I wanted to share with everybody. And so we couldn't really get that onto the Canvas pages, so I just made a Google Classroom, and it was just easier for us to communicate and keep everybody updated and send announcements and things. And then lastly, when you're in a class that really requires certain like digital or technological like skills, such as journalism and publishing, it's very useful to like keep up with the industry standard. For example, in the Inquirer, in the newsroom, we had been using Canva for our layout, for laying out the paper, and it works really well, but it's not meant for publication. And so I've been asking to switch to InDesign, which is the like professional kind of software for it, and we get it for free through the like Adobe like whatever partnership there is between Adobe and the community colleges. And so, but when I approached my professor about it, he was a bit reluctant and hesitant to try it because it's a whole new skill set, it's a whole new software, and it can be very difficult to kind of get to like learn a different thing. So I kind of went and tried to learn from like different tutorials and things, and I tried it myself. And so then I did the whole like layout for the first edition on InDesign. And then I was able to say like, okay, like these are the tools that makes it so much easier than Canva. And like, I think we can actually really excel with the software. And so after that, I was able to like kind of teach my professor and then also teach a layout team so that we can kind of keep it going. So for instructors, it would be very helpful if you also like kind of, I guess, really stay on top of any sort of like updates in the technological field, which is of course innovating or coming out with new innovations every year, as we can see with like artificial intelligence and everything. So
Thank you so much, Alyssa. And keep it simple, right? We don't want to complicate things with technology. Let's get something that's user friendly. And we didn't even touch about AI yet. That's a whole nother webinar, ladies and gentlemen. And I know we're at time, but I want to give Kristen and Renee one more time to speak. And please feel free to type your questions in the chat. We'll be going a couple minutes over. Kristen or Renee, please jump in. What recommendations should educators utilize in the classroom to better engage with their students?
Well, everything Alyssa said was like really spot on, but I really want to emphasize the ability to appeal to different students' learning styles. I think that's something that I actually was able to learn about in one of my own classes for career and life planning. And I never really thought about how I comprehend and take in information until I did an assignment that was about that. And I started to realize how important it is to not just have one mode of teaching. And, you know, it's not like you have to do 5 different types of teaching styles for one classroom, but you can have a main way of teaching information and then using something else to add on to it so that it works hand in hand and it's kind of flexible for everybody in the class. And I think that's something that technology and social media can do, just like with Google Classroom or even with Canvas, because, you know, Canvas is typically what a lot of educators and schools use to post assignments, and they have the accessibility for audio visual features that people may need for doing assignments, which I think is really helpful. And also having these educators to constantly refresh their skills on, you know, what they can incorporate to their classrooms to kind of continue to allow that space to be, you know, as productive as possible, and so that everybody can get the most out of what they're learning. And it fits for everybody in a way, because you can't just use one size fits all when it comes to teaching, especially to social media and just internet capabilities, because there's so many ways that you can go about utilizing that resource. So I think finding a way that kind of like, it's like a niche, and then finding what works for you, the best way for you to get your message across, is the most important thing.
I definitely agree with Kristen, for educators utilizing just the digital media to bring into the classroom. I remember being in statistics, and a professor that I had actually had us utilizing the web to go, and he would give us links, and like we would go play math games. And then he also had us utilize the different links for different types of statistic math related, I guess. I don't know exactly the word I'm looking for, but just different strategies, different links that he utilized to help us learn the methods and the methodologies that he needed us to learn, but in a fun way. So that was kind of cool. So I would recommend, like Kristen is saying, for educators to go and to research those and stay updated to what is relevant in their field. That would be, and even like look into creating apps. You can also create apps of what you think might be of interest for students, and students, not just your students, but students around the world that might possibly benefit from that. So even being a creator of an app or some website link or something of that nature, for the benefit of everybody as an educator, I think that's really awesome.
Thank you so much. Wonderful recommendations and best practices. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. Now I want to open it up. I know we're 5 minutes over, but I do want to give time to my attendees to either unmute or type in the chat. Was there anything we glossed over, anything you're unclear about, or just I'd love to hear your feedback, or how are you guys feeling? Any questions for us? I think I seen a hand earlier, but feel free to unmute or type in the chat if you have any final comments for us or any questions for us. We'd love to answer those now. All right. Oh, I think I have something in the chat. Digital media is definitely the future in terms of communication. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I will even say this. When it's kind of communication, right? It's called social media. And I think what's the most important takeaway is that there needs to be some type of dialogue back and forth, whether that be with your student and educator, consumer, and distributor. There needs to be some element of conversation, right? If you're an educator, I would check in with your students. Say, how is this registering with you? Is there anything else specifically that I can do to help you? Because I think Alyssa or Kristen touched on it. Everyone doesn't learn the same. So your practice might resonate with one student, but not necessarily the entire class. So do those check-ins, talk to them one-on-one, whether that be on Canvas inbox, in person, whichever, give them feedback in their comments and engage with them. Understand that people learn differently, and you have this platform and opportunity as an educator to create real change. And on that note, I will definitely extend my appreciation and gratitude for sharing this last hour with me in this digital media workshop. Please take time to fill out that survey I just dropped in the chat, and I will be following up with an email this evening with this video recording and also the slides. I'll stick around for a couple minutes if you guys did want to chat, but thank you so much for joining us. I hope to see you next year at Teach for the Bay. Have a great evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Andrea.